Cup is on our website, bbcworldservice.com/African football, but that's the sport for now.
Matthew Kenyon reporting.
Get Network Africa from the BBC.
BBC Network Africa.
And now to the third and last part of our series on how African migrants portray their own lives in the arts. After Australia and London, here is the USA. Ever since immigrants have been coming to America, they've been setting up their own theatres and putting on plays that show the ups and downs of their lives abroad. Africans are among the most recent immigrants to the United States, and as our reporter Leslie Goffe found out, they too are using theatre and film to say something about their lives as immigrants abroad, and the DVD copies of these productions are available in many African countries.
There's little room on Broadway or in Hollywood today for productions that depict the everyday lives of immigrants in America. So immigrants like Nigerian Oliver Mbamara have been doing it for themselves. Mbamara, a part-time actor, part-time writer and full-time administrative law judge for the state of New York, writes, directs and produces, along with other part-time actors from Africa, productions about the ups and downs of life for African immigrants in America. Here, in one of Mbamara's most recent productions, This America, a wealthy Nigerian visitor to New York is shocked to discover that his taxi driver is an old friend and bank manager from Lagos.
Mr. Falana!
Mr. Zobio!
Oh my God! What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
I do this as a pastime. Yes.
A old bank manager? Coming to America to drive a taxi?
Mr. Falana, I have to survive. Maybe when you settle down in America as an immigrant, you'll begin to understand the challenges that we have.
This scene from This America is an all too familiar one for African immigrants in America, many of whom were white-collar workers or professionals back home, but in the United States find themselves forced into menial labor because of discrimination or because their qualifications are not recognized here. Oliver Mbamara says his productions, which are made into DVDs sold in the United States and in Africa, are intended as both entertainment for immigrants and as cautionary tales for those in Africa planning on coming to America.
We've had stories of people who come here and even kill themselves when they realize how bad things were here. When they leave Africa, they usually have this impression that things are very rosy, and when they get here, they don't find it that easy. So we do such works to now inform people so that they can be more informed.
Ologa Samuel, who plays a wealthy Mr. Falana in This America, wishes he had been better informed himself before leaving Nigeria for the United States several years ago. Samuel says he watched too many Hollywood films when he was in Nigeria and fully expected, when he arrived in New York, that money would quite literally fall from the trees.
The first time I came out from the airport, I told the man driving me, take me to that place where I'm going to pick the money on the floor. He looked at me and said, I don't know which movie you are watching. Here in America, you have to go chase the money. You are just dreaming.
And how have you found it? Has it been easy to pick?
Oh, my goodness. Welcome to America.
Ologa Samuel is not the first immigrant to come to America in search of a money tree, and he won't be the last. The biggest lies, though, that immigrants tell themselves and Americans are to do with their lives back home. How wealthy they were, how big a job they had, as this scene from This America shows.
Tell me, why did you leave Nigeria?
What do you want to hear from me? That I am some rich oil baron seeking political asylum, huh? If I were any of those, I would not be here today, okay?
The actors featured in This America are not full-time professionals. They're part-timers who earn their full-time living as blue-collar, menial workers or as white-collar professionals. The reason most of them, some from West Africa, some from Southern Africa and others from elsewhere, spend their free time working on Oliver Mbamara's theatre and film productions is because it offers them a sense of connection and community, says Eric Chifunda, an occupational therapist from Zambia.
When you come to a country and you're all by yourself, when you share a common background, but the fact that you're both immigrants, probably that could bind the people together.
In the end, says Oliver Mbamara, it's not his job as a writer to stop Africans coming to America, no matter how bad things can sometimes be for them here.
Many people want to come here, and when you tell them this is what is going on, they say, you know what, I want to come and suffer the same suffering that you are suffering. So you can't tell them not to come, but I think it's a responsibility on us as filmmakers, as writers, for them to be aware of what is going on.
Oliver Mbamara says he hopes to get his production shown on TV in Nigeria and elsewhere in Africa in the near future. For BBC Network Africa, this is Leslie Goffe in New York.
This morning, Albert Chikalusa from Blantyre in Malawi gives us the only in Africa entry.
The 3rd of December 2009 will go down as the day I had the